we applied for our CDS accounts. We bidded for the bonds and we got suspended somehow. And that is what has caused a traffic of a specific question from very many people to my WhatsApp number. When are we going to pay for the bonds? Or how do we pay for the bonds? Many people have been expecting immediately you bid for that bond and you receive a message of acceptance that you would immediately be able to pay. But that is not the case. Out of that public demand to know when to pay, I've decided to create a video to outline the entire bond issue calendar, or what I would otherwise call the auction calendar. I want us to break the period from the issue date to the transfer date of these bonds from the primary market to the secondary market for purposes of trading. And we shall do this one after the next 3 seconds break. So don't go away. If you are new, subscribe to the channel, share this video to another person, and because it has value, give it a thumbs up and engage me in the comment section for whatever question you have or maybe something else that you would want us to talk about. See you after 3 seconds. Welcome back. Maybe we begin by knowing how you'll be telling or knowing that a new bond or treasury bill is on issue. The DAO CSD account that you just created is not just an account, but it's your engagement portal. That is your pigeonhole with the Central Bank of Kenya. You will have a window to tell all the bonds and treasury bills that are in auction. It will also give you a preview of your account and the transactions that you have so far done. So you need to be making frequent visits to that account, maybe on weekly basis, because treasury bills are floated or every other week. Then bonds are offered for sale on a monthly basis. So every other month or every other week, when you have some cash that you would want to put in any investment and you are thinking of the options that are available, is that every week you will have an opportunity to purchase a treasury bill, and every month you will have an opportunity to purchase a bond, among the other options that you have. Quick fast, let's look at the bidding period. This period, in other cases, will be called the selling period or the bond sell period. And it marks from the date of issue up to the end of the bidding process. During this period, one can open or create a DAO CSD account. Once that account is approved, you can place a bid. Once the bid is accepted, you wait for the next stage or the next date, which will outline. During the bidding period, once you have placed your first bid, and maybe you get an opportunity or you raise extra money that would also want to bid and make another bid, you are allowed to make multiple bids, either for one bond or for the other bonds that are on sale. But the most important thing that you need to note is that every bid that you place is a unique bid or is a unique bond, even if it's a second bid of the same bond. You will have bid for a second bond. The importance of having multiple bids, especially for beginners or when you are not very stable, is that in the event there is a need to sell one of them or to sell your bond, you will not entirely liquidate your investment. You will identify one piece or one bond out of the multiples that you bidded and you float that one for sale in the secondary market without liquidating the entire investment. Another thing that you need to remember at that stage is that there is always a maximum. It's important you take note of the maximum that is set per CSD account or per investor. There are certain limits that are set that cannot be exceeded per CSD account or per investor. The same applies when we talk about redemption. Redemption scheduling is based on a CSD account, not the bond itself. So when a limit has been set of maybe the first redemption, full redemption of 100% being done for all investment of £1,000,000, that does not refer to the bond. It refers to the CSD account. It is per account, per investor. Then we go to the next important date, and this is the auction date. And the auction date is the one that immediately succeeds the closing of the bidding period. The bidding period will be a range of days. If we use the example of the current floated IFB, one 2023 6.5 and the other IFB 1 2023 17, the bidding or the selling period is outlined from 25th of July to 14th of August. The 14th of August is the closing date for the bidding, and 25th July is the starting point. Therefore, 14th day of August, which is the closing date of the bidding period, marks the auction date. That is when the auction will happen. At this other stage, we are only bidding and the bids were being accepted. But the auction, where the market rate is determined, that is the day when the committee sits down as with the central bank and determines the rate, the market rate. And this auction day can also be the closing day of the bidding. In most cases where the closing bidding date will be given and closes at around 10 a.m., the same day is the auction period, is the auction date. Then once the auction has ended, it ushers in the payment period. The payment date is not just a single day. We are given maybe 5 days, but remember, it is expected that even before you bid for your bond, you already know that there is a payment to come. So during that period after you place your bid, you are preparing. You have organized the funds. So you are only waiting for two things. The payment date is already known because all these details are already predetermined and published in a very important document that you must make sure every other time you want to bid for a bond, always look for this document. Download this document for your consumption, and this is the bond prospectus. All these dates are outlined in that document, but I'm making this information simpler for ease of understanding. The prospectus is the bond catalog, is the one that gives you all the details regarding that issue. So the most important information that you are waiting for on the bond payment date is the payment key, which is the reference number. The payment key or the reference number for that particular issue. Once the auction has been completed and ushers in the payment period, a specific day is given when you are able to access your payment reference number. And this number, you access it in your transaction tab in your DAO CSD account. It is also transmitted or sent to your email. So once the auction closes, check your email. Check your email account. You'll receive an email that contains your bond reference number and may not carry your DAO CSD account number. In the previous video, I showed you how to access that number under your profile details. So once you have established that key, you should make sure that you make your payment before close of the payment period. The settlement date has to be very specific, and once that day closes, no other payments will be accepted, and that you become a defaulter. And we said that once you default on paying for your successfully bidded bonds, you may be locked out or suspended from participating in future auctions. So once, I repeat again at that point, because I know this is a very important part, the payment date. You have to wait for the auction date to expire. And for the reference, for specific this bond that is on issue right now, the auction day is on 14th August, which is also the closing day for bidding. The bidding closes at 10 a.m. on 14th of August. Then from that time, we get into the auction day, the same day. Then the following day, after auction day, we are ushering in the payment day. The following day, 15th of August, that's when we are beginning of that day up to 19th of August. That window marks our settlement date. You are supposed to make sure you make your payment at that time, but your payment key shall be relayed in your DAO's USD account portal under transaction tab on 16th of August. So far, you should shed that worry. You are still within the scheduled time. After the auction date, you will get to pay for that particular bond. Once the payment day closes, it opens immediately to the secondary trading date. Remember, our purchase direct from central bank, that segment that we are now doing our buying, we are in the primary market. Once these instruments, or once the period for auction and payment expire, these instruments are transferred from the primary market to the secondary market. It is still in the same platform, but it switches from, the instruments will no longer be available in the primary market. Now it goes to the secondary market for purposes of trading. In speculative investors who are purchasing the bonds, hoping for the prices to go up, so they can sell and make a profit, a capital gain out of it. Now we do that business in the secondary market. So that transfer, the secondary market transfer date, or settlement date, will be on 19th of August. Immediately we are done with the payment. And the same day also marks a very important day we call the value date. So far, if you have placed your bid, and the bid has been accepted, you'll have to wait until the value date for those amounts to reflect in your portfolio account. The holding segment where it will show that an additional instrument has been purchased to increase your holding as a number, then the valuation will also increase on the value date. So immediately you pay. Let's say, for example, because the closing date, the auction date is on 14th August, which ushers in the payment date. On the 16th, once you receive your payment key, if you make your transfer on that particular day or before, that amount will not reflect in your account immediately. It will have to wait on the value date, which is 19th, for those figures to reflect in your account. That is very important to note, because I've received several cases or several questions on transacted, but I'm not able to see, or I've not spotted any change in my holdings and my valuation. That has to wait until the value date, which is 19th. Then once the instruments are in the secondary market, there is another part with several dates that remains forming part of the tenure. When we talk of the tenure, we also use it interchangeably with the word maturity or horizon of that particular instrument. So that is the period from the date of issue to maturity of that instrument. And within it, we have two specific dates, where one is the amortization dates. And these are specific days within the maturity period on which dates the specific coupons shall be paid. Remember, coupons for bonds are paid biannually, or 2 times in a year. So we expect 2 amortization dates each year in every period, and those ones are scheduled. And that is where we get the amortization structure. Then, because bonds, especially infrastructure bonds, are redeemed in bits, or we come up with another date we call the redemption date. The word redemption simply means buying back. We are buying these bonds from the government, then the government promises to buy back the documents, or rather redeem them from us by giving us back the amount that we invested, the capital, and probably the last coupon or the last interest amount for the period that our investment should last. So we have the amortization dates and the redemption dates. Those are the most important days or dates that we need to take note of that cover our bond issues or auction period. Thank you for watching that video. I hope you have gotten that important information. You can engage me in the comment section. You can share this information, like the video if it has given you some value. And if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. Thank you for your time.